If you could, would you rather would you rather meet your ancestors from 2 centuries ago or your descendants from 2 centuries from now?
Um,
This, of course, assumes that you will have descendants.
is that 2 centuries, right? So
Yeah, 200 years.
that'd be
We're playing so many different games, I forgot the lock-on button for a minute.
so the early 1800s or the early,
2200s.
Hmm.
Like,
I hope it comes
it
out
all
okay.
depends on the
I hope
variables.
it comes out
Because,
okay.
like, if I could meet my ancestors from
Watering time.
200 years ago
Real big
and tell
strong,
them, hey,
okay?
you know what? Invest in
I hope it
Apple
comes
and
out okay.
Amazon and Google and Nintendo and, like, here's some big
They'd be like,
companies.
what are those things?
Yeah. These companies will exist at some point in the future.
Nice.
If they don't exist by the end of your lifetime, tell your children or your children's
Hope it
children
comes out okay. I hope
to
it comes
invest
out
in
okay.
these businesses. And eventually the family
Watering
will
time.
be really rich.
I hope it comes out okay.
Well, the other concern is that,
But-
I mean, going that far back, are we meeting all of our ancestors?
I imagine it's just like 1 or 2.
Do we get to choose which ones specifically?
I mean, would that change your answer? If you got
Big
to...
and strong, okay?
Well, because here's the thing. My mother's birth father, we know nothing. We know basically nothing about. Like, my mom was, adopted, and she eventually managed to get in contact, like, with her
Okay?
birth mother's family, though her birth mother
Big and strong,
passed
okay?
quite a long time ago.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, actually, I think she passed, like, before I was even born, so that's how long ago that was. But all we know about her birth father is that he was born in Newfoundland. That's it. That's the only thing we know about him. And so if the ancestors I'm visiting
Big and strong,
are
okay?
specifically, the ones that, ended up, to
Watering
him,
time.
like, there's nothing really to gain there, honestly.
I hope it comes out okay. Real big and strong.
Like,
okay?
even if I could, have them, my family history change enough that, they, invest, in
Watering
things,
time.
assuming nothing else changes, I guess.
So you
Yeah,
said
that-
invest and I had a bad thought.
I hope it
Huh?
comes out okay.
You said invest and I had a bad thought.
What was your bad thought?
It's like, oh, invest in things. Oh, like a condom?
Real big and strong, okay?
God.
Real big and strong, okay?
Regardless,
Real big and strong.
but also, like,
okay?
just thinking of, like, how many generations that is. I mean,
I mean, that's what, 4 generations back? Your grandparents' grandparents?
Real big and strong, okay?
Approximately?
actually, if we're going back to my grandparents, like, thinking the grandparents on my... Okay, through my mom's, birth family. Again, also, even if, anything was, like, through, like, my mom's birth family, that's nothing.
I hope it comes out okay.
Because it's
I
like,
hope it comes
again,
out
my
okay.
mom, only, like, really got in contact with them in the last 15, 20 years.
Real big
And it's not like,
strong, okay?
she has any, like, other than the fact that, she
Real
looks
big and strong,
surprisingly
okay?
like her own
Big
aunt,
and strong, okay?
which is kind of funny.
Nice.
Apparently even more so than she looks like her own mother. Like,
Big
that's
and strong,
which is actually kind of funny, but, she,
Real big
like,
and
it's not
strong,
like,
okay?
there'd be any, again, benefit, to me or my family down the line, if they were investing in stuff like that. Again, assuming nothing else changes. Of course, that's all. When you also think about it, though, telling any family, any relative from the past to invest, and if they make
Yeah.
money, that will absolutely change their their life
That
and the
will
life of
change
their
how things wind up going, yeah.
yeah. But it's also just like But even on my dad's side of the family, guess what? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have spoken English at that time.
Interesting.
Um, because like basically the majority of like my family line on my dad's side originates from the Ukraine and Norway. And thinking, what they would have, spoken, in those regions, at the time. Yeah, I don't even know I'd be able to communicate with them. So, effectively, with the past, it's basically I'd be effectively meeting a stranger, no matter what. Meeting a stranger or someone I just couldn't communicate with.
I mean, that's
Sounds
fair.
like... Did you get an important message or something?
A bit important. Just take a minute.
Take your time. I heard the buzz and then you stopped, so... Whew.
Watering time. I hope it comes out okay.
Yeah, on the
You're big and strong,
other side of
okay?
things, meeting, like, descendants,
You're big and
like-
strong, okay?
it's like, yeah, sure. I'm sure I'll never have children. I mean, I know that I can't, parent a child. And with the way things are going, I probably won't wind up adopting or marrying someone who already has their own children. But I have, like,
I hope it comes out okay.
I had to pause and count for a second.
Nice.
I have 5 siblings, and one of them already has a child. Like,
You're big and strong, okay?
So it would be more like, rather than your own children, to be like your great-great-great-niece or something.
yeah.
You're big and strong, okay?
Yeah,
Hope it comes out okay.
See, and that's the issue, it's just like, who would that even be for me?
You don't
'Cause
have
the
siblings?
The only people in my family that I, would be... That, would be the equivalent for me, like, I'm kind of more or less estranged from. So it's just like... And again, it's equally unlikely I will ever have children.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out okay.
Eek. Ah, good food. You got food here.
Time to eat.
Whee!
Ouch.
Ow.
You're big and strong,
But, I mean,
okay?
just, seeing the world in 200 years could either fill someone with hope or hopelessness, depending on how things go in the next 200 years. I mean, these last, these last, 10 years have just all been going down.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here.
I should say
The
90s?
world has kind of been on a... Maybe not steady, but...
Steady,
It
rapid.
definitely had its ups and downs, honestly, since the turn of the millennium.
You're big and strong, okay?
Particularly since a particular historical event.
Y2K?
I was thinking one about a year after that.
You're big
Oh,
and strong,
9/11.
okay?
Yeah.
and just go online and just there's always something that's going on that really makes me think humanity has just been doomed so much. Apparently we're already past like the point of no return for climate change. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Like we passed that like years ago.
Yeah.
At best, the best we can do now is doing as much as we can mitigate, you know, it a bit, and hopefully start working towards, you know, turning around. But that's if we start immediately.
Grow big and strong, okay?
Like literally because of like the the climate change and all that stuff. Well, just because of that alone, I would be shocked if unless something changes, if humanity survives to the year 2100.
Nice.
Yeah.
Grow big and strong, okay?
I'm not,
Gosh,
the
it
planet
feels
will eventually be fine, but
Big
humanity,
and strong,
Yeah.
okay?
yeah.
It
And
feels so weird to think that, like, I don't know, like, the last humans alive could already be alive,
Grow big and
Yeah.
strong, okay? Grow big and strong, okay?
right? Like,
and that's something that between, you know,
Grow
the
big and
climate
strong,
crisis,
okay?
between the whole
I hope it comes out
political
okay.
situation on a global scale,
Watering time.
and just, you know, and I hate to say it like this, but I mean, the rapidly advancing, oh dang it, phone call.
Big and strong, okay? I hope it
Oh
comes
crap,
out okay.
gotta, how do I, yeah, hang on, sorry.
doo-doo.
Grow big and strong,
And
okay?
on the one hand, sure, there might be all sorts of cool new
I hope it
technology
comes
and
out
stuff.
okay. I hope it comes
But on
out
the other
okay.
hand, with the way the world is actually going,
I hope it comes out
doesn't
okay.
seem too great.
Watering time.
God, imagine though, just go 200
comes
years
out
in the
okay.
future, get some, like, you know, 10 petabyte thumb drive, whatever. Is that the thing beyond
I hope
terabytes?
it comes out
Petabytes?
okay. I hope it
Like, I
comes
think
out
so,
okay.
but I'm not completely certain.
Grow
Of
big
just
and strong,
all
okay?
sorts of various, like, shows, movies, games, etc. that will exist. I think games... Like, I have a decent computer. Like, my computer's
Grow big
pretty
and strong,
decent.
okay? All right.
But, like, even a game from, like, 10 years from now, I doubt that it'd be able to run. Considering it has trouble running some games from years and years ago. But imagine just getting, like, you know, PlayStation 20 or something. Or just like, hey, here's, like, you know, the equivalent of a
Grow big and strong, okay?
your 2200 Steam Deck.
Grow big and
And
strong.
it's just like, yeah, here's, you know, completely loaded on with games. You can play them all offline. Also has a bunch of, like, movies and stuff. You can still use just an HDMI cable to
Grow big and
plug it
strong,
in
okay?
to an average screen.
Yes. Grow big and strong, okay?
Sure. Growing up in the 90s and the aughts, definitely a lot different than growing up in, like, the 2010s and 2020s.
I hope it comes out okay.
Because,
Grow big and strong, okay?
like, I got to watch the change between, like, Nintendo Entertainment System with, like, N64 and PlayStation and PS2 and then PS3. And basically, once it hit
I hope it
PS3,
comes out
PS3 to
okay.
PS5, that's 2 generations of consoles. Like, the difference between PS1 to PS3 is like 100 times more than the difference from, like,
I
PS3
hope
to
it comes out
PS5.
okay.
Say what you will about, oh, like, graphics so much better. But also, we got new games!
I hope it comes out okay.
Like, okay, Grand Theft Auto, GTA 2, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas,
Watering time. Watering time.
GTA 4, and like, I remember when GTA 4 was like new, and it's like, oh, hey, big game, lots of awesome stuff to do. I eventually got it,
Okay.
like, years and years later, I got it, for $5 at like a
Watering time.
game store, not even a used game store. It might or might not have been a used copy, but I
Hope
got
it
like
comes out okay.
this.
Watering
But
time.
it's like, yeah, I still remember GTA 4 being like the new hotness, and then GTA 5 came out. It's like, oh, hey, a lot of this stuff, and it's like, I'm not a big GTA fan, so I didn't get GTA 5 when it came out. I eventually found it at a yard sale for like $2, and I got it, and I tried playing it a bit, and it's like, whatever.
I hope it comes out
I would
okay.
still rather play San Andreas than GTA 5. It's like, well, who knows, maybe GTA 6 will be more
I hope
interesting.
it comes out okay.
And then GTA 6 just like never came out.
Real big and strong. Okay.
There are rumors about GTA 6 coming out, but it's like
Real big
not
and, real
still
big and
not
strong,
happening.
Okay? Real big and strong. Okay.
And like people make jokes about like, oh, Half-Life 3 still not out yet. Like
Big and strong. Okay.
apparently like yeah, like technically though Half-Life there was a new installation to the Half-Life series, Half-Life Alyx in VR. Oh my gosh. And it's like I got to watch the upgrades of games from 2D consoles, the
I hope it
NES, the
comes out
PlayStation,
okay.
etc.
I hope it
And now
comes out
VR
okay.
games are kind of
I
in
hope it
the...
comes out okay.
Honestly, I'm not too
Right.
sure. That's... yeah, VR games are kind of all over the place when it comes to, like, graphics and capabilities. Some of them feel very N64-like when it comes to graphics, some of them more like PS2-like, but...
Damn it. I hope it comes.
like, yeah, Rune Factory 5 is not a very graphically intensive game, and yet it's... Actually, hold on a second. I was going to say it's a lot more than VR offers, but no, I've seen some VR games that kind of look like this. But again, this isn't a very
Real big and strong.
high-end sort
Okay.
of game. Gosh, I really need to do VR more. I had a lot of fun playing that Shield Mage game. Even if it
Comes out
was
okay.
incredibly
I hope it comes out
linear.
okay.
I was really hoping they would branch out, I'd get to like choose quest to go on, but it's like, no, you can choose quest. You can choose to either go on the next quest, or you can choose to, like, not go on quests.
Damn it. I hope it comes out okay. Real big and strong. Okay. Watering time. I hope it comes out okay. I hope it comes out okay. Watering time. Watering time. Damn it. I hope it comes out okay.
Why does it just hurt me with its tail so efficiently? Huzzah!
I hope it comes out okay. Real big and strong, okay?
Sure hope I didn't still need to do a bunch of farming stuff. Oh. sure, maybe VR would be the next way of the future. And maybe we'll be able to put a microchip in people's brains and have the microchip act as, like, phone or whatever. Like, stuff would be cool. If only if only there was a company on this planet we could actually trust to microchip people's brains.
Wow, I came back at an interesting time. Microchipping people's brains, huh?
Okay, it would be really cool to just have, like, a microchip in the brain, and you could use it to, like, basically as if it was a computer. You could just, like, oh, I want to go onto YouTube, and you could just, like, it would go into, like, your visual and audio cortexes, so you could see and hear, like, a YouTube video, whatever, playing inside your brain. Whatever, like, oh, I want to, you know, go onto Tumblr, and you can, like, scroll through Tumblr while you're going about your day and all that. Instead of using a phone that you could lose, it's inside your head. Or it's like, oh, hey, I want to play, you know, Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like, all of the controls and stuff is connected inside your brain. And all that, like, that would be really cool and neat. If only there was a company on this planet that we could trust to not abuse the potential of, you know, putting microchips in people's brains. Wait a second. Okay, no, that was the second. Now it's the third, okay. Ooh. So yeah, growing up nowadays is definitely a lot different than growing up back when we had grown up. Wouldn't you agree? Because...
Sorry. Say that again?
Like, growing up, like, being a gamer nowadays, or heck, just growing up nowadays is definitely different from growing up, like, back when we were growing up. Like, if we want to look at games, like...
Yeah.
The difference between, like, PS1 and PS3 is, like, 1 billion times more than the difference between PS3 and PS5.
True. True. There's that image that I've seen somewhere, maybe you even sent it to me, but, like, the whole thing of, like, just, like, with, like, the pixels and stuff with that. Like, what is it, one with triangles with busts of Beethoven or whatever? Like, the difference between, like, doubling, you know, the pixels, or doubling, like, the,
oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
the triangle to make a shape.
But then once you get up to a certain number, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
I don't care if you doubled, tripled, quadrupled, you know, multiply it by 1 billion. It doesn't matter. Because to the human eye, there's no difference anymore. So yeah, they just keep putting in extra triangles, extra vertices, and it's like, okay, graphics don't matter so much. Like, there's a point to where graphics matter, and that point may differ from person to person. But, like, heck, Rune Factory 5, nice game. I don't need it to look dead-on realistic to be able to play it. And, like, I'm glad that the Rune Factory games don't look dead-on realistic.
You know, I mean, here's the thing. Like, the fact that the way that they're trying for realism, like, in, like, the character models and all that stuff, the problem is they aren't there yet. I think maybe once they get to the point where, honestly, where it literally looks like I'm somehow playing a live action thing, at that point I might care. Like, I might be
Uncharted 2.
The thing is, like, even that is still... You can still tell. Like, it's... Like, it is, like, on the realistic side, like, the more realistic side of Uncanny Valley, but it's still in the Uncanny Valley. It hasn't quite crawled out yet.
I just remember playing Uncharted 2 on, like, the living room television, and my mom just, you know, sat down on the other couch and just watched it.
Nice.
for like an hour.
Nice.
I just said, yeah, it's like just watching a movie.
There, there. There, there. There, there.
And it's just like...
There, there. There,
And then I,
there.
missed a jump and fell down a ravine and respawned, which kind of broke the immersion a little. But, as it goes.
Yes! There, there.
Right, we got... But yeah, I don't think I would really want a game where, like, the main appeal is, hey, look at the main character looks like an actual person. I would rather have, like, cartoon or anime graphics. I almost said physics. Heck, I'd rather have cartoon physics in a video game than real-life physics.
Yes. Like, honestly, I think that is more what they should be working towards. Like, when I think like
Better
cartoon
physics
physics,
engine.
like, I want to think like Looney Tunes type cartoon physics. I want a physics engine in a game that can actually handle that.
I want a physics engine in a game that can actually handle being a physics engine in a game. Put an item inside a bowl and have them just be there and not clipping inside of each other constantly. Like, how have like game developers not perfected collision physics yet? But oh no, we have to animate the pores on their skin. Also, I got an absolutely cursed idea for a video game, and now I have to share with you. House MD, the video game.
Oh god.
You play as, like, Dr. House, and it's, like, third-person perspective, like, walking along the hospital and stuff, and it's like, there's, like, a mini-game for, like, the diagnostics part with, like, the whiteboard, and you have... So it's like, oh, hey, like, first there's, like, a mini-game for, like, examining the patient and finding, like, the symptoms and whatever. And then you go to the minigame on the board, and say, yeah, here's the symptoms that you found out about, like, what could this point to? And there's, like, a whole list of diseases, and it's like, okay, let's only look for the ones that could cause this, and then, like, narrows it down. So it'd also be, like, a game that teaches, like, medicine, in addition to being just a really weird video game in general.
Yes! All right!
When we were talking about characters looking, like,
All right!
extremely realistic.
All
I've been watching a lot of House, so I'm just like, oh, like House. House is a human person.
Yes! Yes! All right!
Right, also, games. One thing about games that used to be the case, but has really stopped being the case over the past approximately a decade, is we used to get new games. I'm sorry, when did GTA 5 come out?
That's a good point.
When did GTA 5 come out? Like 10 years ago? Plus?
It's got to be more than that. Let me look this up here. 2013.
12 years ago. Okay, when did GTA 4 come out?
2008.
So 5 years between GTA 4 and GTA 5.
All right!
And that felt like a long time. It's like,
You know what? Let me just also look up GTA 3 while we're at it here.
well, okay, it was San Andreas before 4.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and there was Vice City. I'd forgotten about Vice City. I think it was 1, 2, 3, Vice City, San Andreas, 4, 5.
All right! All right!
What the?
All right!
Okay, so let's see here. So GTA 3 was October of 2001.
All
Vice City
Okay.
was October of 2002.
1 year.
San Andreas was October of 2004.
2 years.
4 was April of 2008, so
Nice.
4 years.
4 years.
GTA 5 was September of 2013, so 5.5 years. And nothing since then.
And 12 years later,
Nice.
still, I mean, okay, there's rumors of GTA 6 coming out. At some point, maybe.
Nice. Yes.
But still, over 12 years. Like, could you imagine being a kid who, I don't know, for some reason, a kid who plays GTA games?
All right.
It's like, oh, hey, GTA 5, da-da-da-da-da, and then just no new game, and just being okay with that.
It's supposedly going to come out a fall of this year, but it's
Supposedly.
since the launch of the trailer, the 2025 release date has been removed from marketing materials, but like the studio's CEO reaffirmed that should be released in 2025. The company is confident of an autumn 2025 release window.
They're
It's just
feeling
like-
confident.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like,
Yeah, it's like, supposedly, maybe, kind of, we think it's gonna be. But still 12 years!
and of course, let's also go to the other, joke of, I mean, Valve can't count to 3.
Yeah. I mean, they
When
did
the-
make Half-Life out.
Yeah, but that's still not 3.
Hey,
I mean, here's
we've
the
been
thing.
waiting for
Remember, they
Dark
had-
Cloud 3 since before Half-Life 2 came out.
I mean, let's keep in mind here. They made Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Then Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. And Half-Life Alyx. And like a few other spin-off bits along the way. Including Portal. And Portal 2. And then that other weird spin-off that's like the Aperture Lab, so it's like just you at the desk thing. That is part of like the whole Aperture Science storyline, but it's still not a Portal game. And the way that they ended Portal 2 really makes it seem like they're not gonna make a sequel. Because it's just like, how?
I remember after Portal 2 came out, I had done some brainstorming with someone that they could make like a Portal 0, and that would just be like during the Cave Johnson era. But the issue with it is that for a new game, you want to be able to have new mechanics. And like, strictly speaking, there could have been stuff during the Cave Johnson era that we just didn't see during Portal 2.
True, but it really did give you the impression that, we did see all of the stuff that they came up with, and what other things could they actually introduce? They have the goo that lets you put portals anywhere. They have the goo that makes you bounce, and goo that makes you go fast on it. What other things would actually be suitable for a game?
Okay, to be fair, the time portal was a really interesting mechanic. But I don't think that was official Valve that did that. Wasn't that
I believe that was fan-made. That was a fan thing, I believe. Which, I agree, that is an interesting concept. I
have to wonder if Valve decided, oh, we like that idea, and decided to, like, make that a mechanic in a new Portal game. Could the person who made the mod, like, sue them for using their intellectual property? Considering that the person used, like, Valve's intellectual property to make the mod in the first place.
Hello. So there seems to be leaks and stuff that Half-Life 3 might actually come out this year.
Oh my gosh, this year! Everything's been coming out this year! Hold on a second. I have to search a few things up. Let me just search really carefully now. Okay, no. Oh. No, Fable 4 is coming out in 2026.
Ah.
This year has so many things coming out. It's insane. Anyway, what was I making for everybody? Is he making swords?
Half-Life 3 rumors ramp up after G-Man voice actor issues cryptic tweet, his first in years. There's stuff I'm seeing that seems to suggest that social media presence of like the guy who voices G-Man has kind of signaled like development and releases and stuff of like stuff in the Half-Life franchise. So the fact that, you know, he's tweeting and they're causing rumors and stuff with that, and I'm not seeing anything here that seems to actually be officially saying anything.
Wonderful.
But it is, I would say, educated rumors.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, and to quote Deadpool and Wolverine, an educated wish. But it might. It sounds like it might, but the thing is, like, even just thinking that, though, going back to your original thought of, we used to see new games.
Yes.
And we're talking now about sequels to franchises and stuff that, you know, we know of. When was
Skyrim
the last...
came out in 2011.
God.
Skyrim came out in 2011.
Yes, I know. But it's just like, when was the last time that, you know, okay, well, admittedly, we have seen lots of, you know, neat new indie games come out.
Oh yeah, indie devs.
But what was the last, like, shall we say, AAA title that is not a continuation of a franchise that you've seen come out anytime recent?
Okay, what are the AAA games that have come out? Because yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is a continuation, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
There's been lots of Call of Duties that come out.
Here, let's do a search.
What are some AAA games?
AAA games released in...
AAA games 2024.
That's what I'm trying to search here.
I'm seeing... Oh, Astrobot! Was that AAA?
Let's see here. So, new video game releases for 2024, you know, as posted, you know, in 2024. Let's see. January, Bulletstorm VR, so that's... I don't know if that's a sequel or just a port. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, that's the one that existed. Another Code Recollection. Oh, so that's just a collection game for something. Pal World,
which is basically Pokemon. Like,
it's basically Pokemon, and
Pokemon with guns.
Nintendo and Game Freak may be trying to take it down fully. The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, so it's not even the actual Last of Us Part 2, but a remastered version of it.
Yeah.
Howl, never heard of it. Enshrouded, also never heard of it.
Enshrouded, wait, that's the exact same name as a game that was out for, like, the Xbox 360.
Survival game. It wasn't on the Xbox 360. Like, this one wasn't. There might be another game with the same title. I know nothing about it. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Okay, so that's just another collection. That's a sequel. Tekken 8. One Punch Man World, but, like, released on Android, so that's a mobile title. Clearly a sequel. Remake.
That's awesome.
Working hard.
Helldivers 2, but we all know how that turned out.
Oh gosh.
Like, I'm just trying to look through what came out that isn't just that has stayed, and
People liked
like
Astral
the first
Black.
thing I'm seeing here that is new and has staying power. Balatro. That's not exactly a AAA game,
That's not AAA, no.
but it is so far the first on this list that isn't like part of an existing franchise that I actually recognize.
Oh. Oh.
Remake, Star Wars remaster, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Gee, another remake.
Yeah, so many remakes, remastered, and it's like, hey, how about you try making something? Like, even if it's a sequel to a
Feeling
game,
well?
at least that's potentially some new content. But it's like, no, let's just take an old game and maybe make the graphics better. Maybe.
Dragon's Dogma 2, which released the same day as Princess Peach's Showtime. It's the Ender Magnolia.
Hey! Which is a sequel.
Yeah.
Or prequel, who knows.
This is splendid.
The
Yes. Fascinating.
I'm just trying to see, like,
is it not?
okay, well, this is obviously that's part of that series. Part of that series. Well, no, this is just saying that a game that already existed getting a PS5 release. Hades 2. Little Kitty Big City. Again, not exactly
Not a
AAA
AAA
title.
game, but it was something new.
It was something new, but I mean, it was over pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a very short
Braid
game.
Anniversary Edition. My God.
Braid, that was for the 360.
Yeah, except this release was so new it didn't come out on the 360, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake.
Remake.
Uh,
Yeah, that one, like, sometimes with the remake they might add something or other, but that one they just removed stuff. They made it so you can't speedrun it as easily.
I will say the one change that I did hear about it is that it is now explicit in the English release that Vivian is trans,
Just
and it's
flat
not
out.
just that in the because remember in the original versions that Vivian was well, in Japan Vivian was basically just a guy who was effeminate, and then the English release Vivian was just a girl. Apparently Vivian now is canonically trans, which is a nice touch, but it's a remake of a sequel. Let's see here.
See?
A Star Wars game,
Yes.
Assassin's Creed game, Monster Hunter games,
Nah.
SMT stuff,
Yeah.
remake of Riven, Luigi's Mansion 2 High HD. Again, that's a remake of a sequel.
Huh?
Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Again, that's I don't know if that's a remake or a
I had
sequel or
blast hanging out
port
with
or
everyone.
whatever,
Hit me
but
up whenever you're
it's
down
an
for a
existing thing.
challenge.
Ace Combat 7 on the Switch. Ooh, I wonder if that's the first in the series.
This is. Take this.
Tomba Special Edition.
Yep, remake. Remake, remaster. Ever. Someone told me the difference between a remake and a remaster, and I didn't care enough to memorize the difference.
Well,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, admittedly, I'm not keeping up with with all the new games and stuff with that. But it's just like, you would think that with any of these things, I might have heard of them, especially if they're a AAA title. But it's just like, any of the ones that I've heard of, again, aren't like are all just like sequels or spin-offs or remakes or collections. It's just like, where's the new stuff? God of War Ragnarok. On PC, specifically.
Yes.
Disney Epic Mickey rebrushed. So again, another remake. Palworld again, but on the PS5.
However, thank goodness.
Silent Hill 2 remake. Uh-huh. Metaphor Refantasia, which...
Sorry about that.
I mean, I think I pretty much clocked it pretty well there. It's basically Persona or any other Shin Megami Tensei game, but in a fantasy setting. Basically, if you took basically if you took Final Fantasy 12 or 14 and added some, Shin Megami Tensei mechanics to it. That's basically it. Slay the Princess, the Pristine cut,
How
which
do you do?
I have, but again, that's not AAA, and I mean that's basically the director's cut sort of idea of the game. But yes, that's still
My stars.
still that's all just. It's just, I'm looking on this, I'm trying to find anything. Oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, which, if I recall correctly, had such a terrible release that people were saying, yeah, just go play the previous one.
Oh yeah, like
from the first day. And it's just like, Marvel Rivals, but again, that's not new, that's just basically putting... I don't even know what type of game it is. I'm pretty sure it's either, a fighting game or a MOBA or something like that. Except with Marvel character. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
other than the fact... Yeah, it's... And I'm pretty sure on what it is on Steam is that somehow it's gotten, like, every tag, probably so that it shows up on, like, every search. And that's how it showed up in that one particular search that I was making the other day, like a week or so ago. It's just like, what's going on here?
Oh gosh, yeah, the versification of, like, searching things. So it's like, hey, I want to find a nice puzzle game, and you find, like, fighting game, and it's like, but this is not what I wanted. Oh, but don't worry, we paid extra money so everyone would find this with every search. Like, but that's not what I want, so now if I do eventually want a fighting game in the future, I'll make sure not to get that one, because that one won't let me search for the actual game types that I want to search for.
Yeah. I know that there is a particular... I think there's a website or something like that you can go to. I'd have to look into this again. Where you can look up stuff similar to a different game, and it'll actually be helpful in that regard.
Oh gosh, I've tried so much to find games that were like Dark Cloud 2. And it's always just like, oh, do you like RPG? Here are games that are action-adventure. And it's like, but no, like... The bot
Okay.
completely doesn't understand.
Alright, I have found like, a thing here. The 5 best AAA games of 2023 and the 5 best AAA games of 2024. Okay, for 2023, Hogwarts Legacy. Less said about that, the better, but that is certainly not anything new. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And
That's
again,
not
it's
new.
a Mario game.
Also, I'm surprised to hear that that's AAA. What does a AAA even mean, anyway?
I don't even... You know what? A AAA game refers to high-budget, high-profile titles typically produced and distributed by large, well-known publishers, often characterized by blockbuster status and large development.
So I guess, yeah, anything mainline
So-
Mario game, then, I guess.
It absolutely would be, because, yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Again,
nothing
no
new.
surprises. Yeah, no surprises on that, but it's really worth noting that like all of them are sequels. Well, sort of. At least Baldur's Gate 3 is...
It did
Honestly,
branch off. I don't know why they specifically called it, like, Baldur's Gate 3. Like, they could have named it differently, because it has no connection to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, which specifically had connection to each other.
Yeah, like the extent of the connection is that some characters that were in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 make appearances. Some of them.
But yeah,
certainly
it's
not
just a
all of them.
D&D game that happens to be set in...
And it's just,
And that's it.
admittedly, let's be honest here, name any other, like, D&D based franchise, like, for a video game.
Oh. There's Frost something. I don't think it was Frostpunk,
Icewind
was
Dale,
it? Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale, basically, which was kind of pre-Baldur's Gate 1.
But
Also
that is
made
a
by-
D&D thing, right?
Yes, it is, and it's...
Pools of
it's-
Radiance. That's D&D themed. That's
Sorry,
a D&D
what is?
video game. Pools of Radiance.
Holes of Radiance?
Pool. P with a P. Pool.
Pools of Radiance.
Might just be pool singular.
Pool of Radiance. That came out in 1988.
It's still D&D.
Okay, let me rephrase. Since then. Since Baldur's Gate. Well, I guess Baldur's Gate and I guess technically Neverwinter. Like but there was Neverwinter Nights, Neverwinter Nights 2, and then Neverwinter the MMO. And that's it. And again, it's still kind of just with the... I will remember that back in when Baldur's Gate 2 was out, sometimes in the loading screens, one of the messages would say, remember to hold on to your character save data, you can transfer it into Neverwinter Nights when it comes out.
Watering time.
And it turns out that you absolutely couldn't because they changed from the... I believe Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate 1 were based off of AD&D, like basically 2nd edition, and then Neverwinter Nights was based off of 3rd edition.
Grow big and strong.
And then Neverwinter Nights 2 was based off of 3.5, I believe.
Oh, cool.
So it was technically a bit of an update.
Have I
But,
mentioned enough that I would love to have a game that's just enables the full range of motion of D&D 3.5? I want to play a D&D video game where I can play as a flying character.
Yeah, that would be nice. Especially since, you know,
Nice.
we technically have that. Well, actually, right. Here's the thing in thinking about Baldur's Gate 2. There was a character that joins your party that used to be able to fly. You know, she was a winged elf. Except by the time you meet her, her wings were cut off.
Nice.
And let me guess, after she leaves, she gets her wings back.
No. I mean, you can have her in the party, like, for the rest of the game.
Oh.
But no, she doesn't. Her wings don't regrow. They're gone forever. But,
And you can't
All
just
right, let's
use
take
like
one-
a regenerate spell or something to get them back.
Nope. Oh god. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. From
Nice.
after that list of the 2023 games, here's the apparently 5 best AAA games of 2024. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Number 6 in a spin-off of the Call of Duty franchise.
I still remember the
Elden
original
Ring.
Black Ops.
Huh?
I still remember the original Black Ops. I had quite a bit
Yeah.
of fun with that.
Nice, nice.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, which isn't even like a sequel
Is
or
that a
something.
DLC?
That's a DLC. Frostpunk 2,
Nice.
Star
nice.
Wars Outlaws, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
All right.
It's not even a
It's
new
like-
Final Fantasy.
Nice.
See, the thing is, though, like, if they can just remake a game,
Nice.
heck, if they can just re-release an old game for a new console or whatever,
Big and strong,
and then just
okay?
say, "Oh, hey, pay us full price, for, you know, for this game that you could download and play on an emulator for free," and then people do it, then why should they try making a new game if they can make just as much money, possibly more money, just by, you know, taking an emulator and slapping a $60, $80, $100 price sticker on it? Hey, look, here's a PS1 game. It looks and performs the exact same as it did back on PS1.
Watering
Maybe we put in keyboard controls. Maybe.
All right.
Pay us $40.
All right.
Yeah,
Like,
The
at least
games
with Spyro,
industry
they updated the graphics and made it easier to speedrun.
Sorry, which?
Spyro. And I believe
Oh.
they released all 3 Spyro games as one game. But yeah, like, they at least, you know, changed the physics engine slightly, and changed up the graphics, as opposed to just making a new Spyro game, because people don't like new Spyro games, they like the original 3 Spyro games. They don't want to play any of the other Spyro games, because other Spyro games are not as good as the original Spyro games.
I hope it comes out.
Spyro
okay.
Enter the Dragonfly gets bad mouth a lot. Like, I remember I tried to play that game, and I really tried to give it a good, like,
Watering time.
going for it. I really tried to play it good. I remember this one part in, like, the first level, and there are, like, these kids next to a rock that has a tree with a kite in it, and they're all like, "Wow, wow, let go of my kite, and it went into the tree, whatever.
Watering time.
Can you get it back for me?" And so, and there's a place not too far away. I was able to just
Comes out okay.
glide down onto the rock, get the kite, give it to the kid. "Oh, thank you, Spyro. Brr, brr, why am I so cold? Brr!" What you're supposed to do is come back after you have freeze breath, freeze the kid, jump on the kid to get onto the rock to free the kite. You don't have to freeze the kid in any of the 3 instances in that level. It is entirely optional to freeze the
Watering
kids,
time.
but since the game devs intended you to
Go
freeze the
big and
kid,
strong, okay?
that there is no alternate, like, dialogue for, "Oh, thank you," or anything. They expect you to freeze the kid, so that is the only outcome
Big and strong,
that the game
okay?
accepts.
Hope it comes out okay.
Even though for all 3 of them it's possible to glide down from somewhere else to take the kite.
I hope it comes out okay.
You know, it's just really, thinking about this stuff, it's just really interesting, even like with the franchises and stuff, how
Big and strong.
often like the first, few games in a
Hope it
series,
comes out okay.
it
Hope it
they
comes out
just
okay.
have something to them that later ones
Big and
just
strong.
do not have anymore. Like let's be
Watering time.
personally, I really like the first 6 Final Fantasy games. Mostly. And of course, they were absolutely popular enough to continue making because,
Oh yes,
again,
yes,
the reason Final Fantasy was called Final Fantasy is because they didn't
yes.
expect
I
to make
know.
another one.
Watering time.
It,
I
that
know,
was
but I'm
not
saying
just they
for your
weren't
video.
expecting to make another Final Fantasy. That was their last game.
Watering time.
Period.
Yes.
Before
Yep,
the
that was
company went
Big
bankrupt.
and strong, okay?
exactly. And it was made
It was
by
their
some.
fault.
It was supposed to be a role-playing game, made by someone who didn't really understand what a role-playing game was.
Hope it comes out okay.
But it worked. It worked well enough that they kept
Hope it
making
comes out
more,
okay.
and
Ouch.
and certainly like a lot of them, hold a soft spot, in a lot of people's hearts. Like honestly, like there is a reason why, of like the first 6 games,
I hope it comes
only the
out
first
okay.
one, number 4 and number 6 originally came to North America, because honestly, between them and I'd say number 5, like those are probably like I think probably are like the best of that set.
I hope it
2
comes out
was
okay.
interesting. Honestly, the best way to describe 2 is don't get attached to whoever's in the 4th party member slot.
Why, they just insta-die or something?
It's a revolving door party slot. You keep switching out the party member that's in that slot.
Watering time.
And by the end of the game, of everyone who used to be in that slot, other than the final one who's like in your party at that point, only one of them survives. Every single other one dies for plot reasons. And because of the fact that that one also had like the usage like skill level thing where you use an ability more and
Watering time.
And then
Gain
you
from
level
it.
it
And
up,
I-
and so if
yeah,
you punch yourself, you get attack and defense and health.
Yep. And admittedly, like once you actually understand like how those mechanics work, like I really do like that system, but I can absolutely understand why people who aren't quite as,
Hope it comes out okay.
Yeah,
The
the idea
quite
of do a
thing-
thing a bunch of times to upgrade specifically that thing can be really neat, depending on how it interprets you doing the thing, but also it can absolutely very easily be
Hope it
cheese.
comes out okay.
For example, Final Fantasy, punching yourself is is an easy way to farm like skills.
I hope it comes out okay.
Yeah, well, Final Fantasy 2, yes.
Yeah, I
Um,
also watched that Puffin Forest video where he had hit himself with like a curse blade and cursed his party member and had to
Yeah, and you
spend
weren't-
all of his money in an end game place to remove the curse because he didn't have an earlier save.
Yeah.
Watering time.
And so it's stuff like that, and like it was fairly rough. And then Final Fantasy 3, which quite frankly, well, it uses the job system that
From Bravely Default.
that
I think
is,
that's from Bravely
next
Default
used in
too.
Final Fantasy 5, but honestly, Final Fantasy 3 just kind of feels like almost like a prototype of Final Fantasy 5.
Strong, okay?
That is
Oblivion
how
feels
I
like a
would-
prototype.
But
Comes out okay?
and 5 again, again with the job system, it isn't, at least hadn't been particularly,
Okay.
popular for a time. So I can understand why the ones that we got originally were the ones we got. And then Final Fantasy 7, which was such a big leap forward, like between,
Hope
the
it comes out okay.
Super Nintendo to the PS1.
I hope it comes out okay.
And I can absolutely understand why there was, so much hype around it. And there are people who like, Final Fantasy 8 or Final Fantasy 9 better.
Watering time.
But the vast majority of people who like the PS1 era game of Final Fantasy games prefer Final Fantasy 7.
Big and strong, okay?
And the thing is also, like, for a lot of people, it was like the first big game, I think, that they ever played too.
Watering time.
But
Yeah.
oh god.
And then Final
saw,
Fantasy 10 and what?
Oh, we're already over time with the video, so I wanted to wrap things up.
Oh. Okay.
I
Sorry.
saw a picture that was like growing up in like was it the 2000s versus growing up in the 2020s. A 7-year difference of games for like Halo or Call of Duty, whatever. That could be like 3 or 4 different games. 7-year difference of like Fortnite is Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like, I played Halo 3 while that was out. Well, that was the thing. And it felt like I'd played it for like 15 years. Really, it was like maybe 3 or something. But it was amazing. And there was stuff like coming out, like new levels would come out and stuff. Like, I don't know how I managed to do it, but somehow I had scratched my Halo 3 disc. I could not play any of the campaign beyond level 3, but I could do the entire multiplayer. All of the, like, custom games and Forge and all of that stuff worked perfectly, but I could not do the main campaign past level 3. Like, it would not load. That exact data was taken away.
Huh.
And I did not even care. In the entire time that the disc was scratched like that, it only came up literally twice. And once because I was reflecting on how that had... and on how it was weird that it had happened the first time, and I was trying to load into a level. But, like, I never actually beat the campaign anyway, and I barely even played, like, the 3 levels that I had while I had them, because I just wanted... I loved the Forge. I loved making custom maps and playing them, and I wish that there was, like, a hit game out. I don't know, first-person shooter game with the Forge mode where you can make custom maps. Like, I kind of want to go on to the whatever Halo whatever thing just to make custom maps and just mess around with them again. I used to do that, like, all of the time. Just make it... I found out stuff about the custom maps. But now you can't do that in games anymore, right? Are there any games out these days that has, like, a Forge mode where you can make custom maps and play them with people? What's the newest Halo game? Does that have it?
I'm trying to find what is the most recent Halo game, and unfortunately, the Halo franchise wiki page isn't that helpful. The most recent one is Halo Infinite. Which is the...
Oh, someone 2 years ago said that Halo Infinite Forge is the best Forge we've ever gotten. So maybe after I'm done here, I'll load up Halo Infinite and try out the Forge mode.
I guess you will.
So, Halo Infinite, you can play the multiplayer apparently for free, but you have to pay money to get the campaign. I don't care about the campaign. Can I do Forge without paying for it? Yeah, I love the creativity, the custom thing. There was, like, a third-person, like, RPG, action-adventure, whatever genre of game that I played for, I think, the 360. I don't remember what the game was called. But, after a certain point, you could basically design your own dungeons, more or less. And you could get, like, currency by going through them. So, like, if you make a longer dungeon, if you set it to, like, have more monsters and stuff, like, you can't place the monsters, but you can, like a scale bar. 100% monsters. Oh, well, but you get more points if you put it, like, 200% monsters. And then, like, there's a boss chamber at the end. You can, like, scale how tough the boss is. And, like, the harder you make the dungeon, the more, like, currency points you get. Or you could just, you know, farm regular maps, or you could farm your custom maps. And it's like, the game devs didn't need to do that, but it was great that they did. So you didn't have to farm, like, the same, you know, campaign mode maps, whatever, over and over again. You can at least change it up a little bit. Or, like, you know, if it's like, oh, I just need, like, a few more points, okay, just make a short little dungeon and get the points. So anyway, this has been an episode of Rune Factory 5. Like always, we eventually found something to talk about. So that's cool. Anything else? Last moment?
Not that I can think of.
Alright, cool. Let's save the game right where we're standing. And... Toodles!